friends, welcome to Selenium interview question and answer part 7. This is Haradhan once again as usual. Thank you all for watching my videos. In case you are enjoying my videos and learning automation testing and Java, please like and share my videos. Do not forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you will get notification as and when I will upload any new videos. Please do not forget to provide your valuable comment for any input or suggestion. Stay tuned for my next video. So in this video, I will cover 25 set of question and answer from Selenium and specific to testng framework. So in my previous 6 video, I already covered 150 question and answer from Selenium, WebDriver, automation testing as well as testng. In this video, I will cover another set of 25 question and answer which are specifically from testng framework. How user can run a group of test case using testng? testng allows user to perform sophisticated grouping of test methods. User can declare that method belong to group as well as user can also specify group that contain other group. Okay. Then testng can be invoked and used to include certain set of groups or regular expression which excluding another set. This gives user maximum flexibility in how user partition their test and does not require to compile anything in case user want to run two different set of tests back to back. Group are specified in testng.xml file and can be found either the test or shoot tag. Group specified in the shoot tag apply to all the test tag underneath, right? So, I mean, you already know, right, that we can create the groups and we can create another group under a single group, right? So, what is the annotations of creating the group? So, you need to use the @test annotation and you need to use the group. In case if you want to group multiple group, right, you need to pass it, the group name. So, after under which you need to create the methods. So, and you need to provide the method body. So, that's why you can run a group of test case using the testng framework. How user can create a data-driven framework using testng? So for that you need to use the @data provider annotations. So you can create any data-driven testing framework. So that is the syntax. @data provider syntax. You need to give the data sheet, test data sheet name, right? And you need to create the object, and here you need to create the methods, and you will provide the right. Create another object of the the data, right, and you need to pass the arrays and arrays format, rows and count, right? Once it is done, you can set the value, right, from row 0 column 0 user id. Suppose you have two rows, one row is user id and another row is column, right, and you need to provide 2 or 3 different sets, right? So first user id you can give, first password you can give. Similarly for the second one, second user id password you can get the return data. So that's why you can create data driven framework using testng with the help of @data provider annotations. What are the main importance of testng.xml file? So whenever we are dealing with the testng framework, right, we can create our code, right, at the rate of test method, and after that we need to use the testng. You need to create a testng XML file where you need to give all the conditions, right, on which group we want to run, on which method we want to run, on whether it is required for parallel testing, like that. So in a Selenium testng project, user need to use testng.xml file to configure the complete test suite in a single file, right? Suppose you have created a multiple packages, right, and under a single package there is a lot of class, right, and if you want to run multiple class under the multiple packages in the same time, so obviously it is not possible to go to run one by one, right? Instead of that, you will create the XML file, testng XML file, where you will provide all the condition and you can run it. Okay. So these are the basic importance of the testng file. First, testng.xml file allows to include or exclude the execution of the test method and test group. So if you want to include a particular group or test methods or exclude something, you can use it in the XML files. It allows to pass the parameter to the test case. It also allows to add group dependency, right? In case some of the test cases depend to the other group or other test case, you can add it. Allows to add the priority of the test case, okay, and allow to configure parallel execution of the test case. You use the help of thread count, right? Allows to parameterize the test case. So that is the basic advantage of the testng.xml file, and it is very important in the any testng framework. How user can create group of groups in testng? Group can also include other groups. These groups are called the meta group, right? So that is the syntax you need to use it, right? In the testng.xml file. First you need to use the group syntax, then under which you need to define name equal to all, and you need to include the group name one by one, right? And you need to close the define tag, and under the run tag you need to include all, right? So that all will be executed, right? And you need to close the run tag and you need to close the group tag. So that's why you can create group of groups in the testng. Okay. Provide an example how user can handle expected exception using the test annotation. So exception can be multiple, right? It can be arithmetic exception, it can be array index out of bound exception, it can be null pointer exception. So in already you know in the Selenium WebDriver we can handle the exception using the try catch block, right? But in the testng framework we will be not able using the try catch block. Instead of that we will use the annotation expected exception equal to the exception name we will give and dot class. So that is the package name we need to give it. Then as the test method we are using, annotation we are using, we need to import the org.testng.annotation.test particular package, right? That particular test class from this package, and we need to give a particular class name, right? Under which we will use the test annotation. Then syntax we need to use expected exception equal to arithmetic exception and class. In case we know the exceptions type, so we will use the exact exceptions name. Then we need to create an methods under which we will performing some operation, right? So that it will trigger some exception and it will be handled using the exception. Why is it would require to handle the exception? Because in case exception is not handled, so it will throw the error, and obviously the next time line of code will not be executed and your execution will be stopped. So that is the reason we need to handle each and every possible exception, so that our execution will not be stopped and we can continue to the next line of code execution. How user can control the order of test execution in testng? So in case you are not controlling the order, right, you do not know which method will be executed first, right? So for that you need to, suppose if you have created some program, some method, right? Suppose for the login one, okay, then suppose you are doing some booking, then you are retrieving the booking, then you are logging out, right? So in case you are not maintaining the order of your method, so in case your logout will be executed first and then login, so obviously test case will fail, right? Complete test case. That is the reason you need to use control the order of the test execution from the XML file, testng XML file. So for that we need to use the preserve order attribute to true, right? So you need to give the test name. Suppose my test case name is flight reservation, and you need to use the preserve order equal to true. Okay, then you need to use the class where I am using the class name and under which we are including the method name, right? Suppose first method, second method, like that. So it will be executed from the name wise. First method will be executed first and second method will be executed first. In case we are adding multiple methods, so it will be executed like that. Then you need to close the method, class, classes, and test. What are the listener in testng and why user need to use them? testng framework defines a set of classes known as listener to monitor the different state of the test. Right? It can be pass states, it can be fail state, it can be skip test, like that. So we need to monitor it, right? So listener class handle those things. Okay. The listener extends the following marker interface org.testng.ITestListener. Using them, user can improvise the behavior of a testng test following up the important listeners available, right, in the testng framework. Okay. So I execution listener which keeps track of testng run from the beginning to the end. Okay. I annotation transformer, it can customize a testng annotation and make work accordingly. I should listener which monitor the start and finish of the test suite. Okay. I test listener, it keeps checking on different state of a testng test. I configuration listener, it tracks the event trigger with respect to configuration method. I method interceptor, which gives us the ability, gives the user ability to change the list of test method using testng during a testng run. I invoke method listener. You can the name itself you can see, right? It adds handler to invoke before calling the testng before and after method. I hookables, allows setting up a callback method to trigger before a test method. An iReporter produce a test report for overall execution, right? It can be pass, fail, skipped, all these test cases. So iReporter is also useful in the test engine. What are the different way to produce reports for test engine result? So the main importance of test engine is that it provides the result, right? Because in Selenium WebDriver you can't create the result, right? Report, okay. But in test engine report or result can be like we can get it in the because it is inbuilt feature of the test engine. But as an have a record you can customize that this report also. So there are two ways to produce report using test engine. One is listen and implement the interface org.testng.itListener and notify in real time when a test starts, passed and failed, etc. Okay. And another one is that reporters implement the interface org.testng.iReporter and are notified when all the suite has been run by testng. The iReporter instance receive a list of objects that describe the entire test run. So that's why you can produce the reports for testng result. What does @test invocation count and @test thread pool size means in the test engine? So @test invocation count is nothing but a parameter that indicates the number of times this method should be invoked. Okay. Suppose in case a particular method need to be run multiple times, so obviously we will use the invocation count. Suppose if we give the 5, so particular method will run for test will run for 5 times. And test thread pool size is used for execution suites in parallel. Each suites can be run in a separate thread. Okay, so that is the two different. So invocation count means it will run particular method multiple times, and invocation thread pool size it will run each suite in separate thread. Okay, to specify how many times test method should be invoked from different threads, user can use attribute thread pool size along with the invocation count. So here example I have given, right? Test thread pool size is 3, invocation count is suppose 10, right? And we are creating a method. So as per the invocation count 10, so it will be run 10 times, and as per the thread pool size 3, so it will be 3 different thread will be created. Okay, each suite will be run in separate thread for parallel testing. What are the different methods available in ITListener interface of testng? So I already listed down the important method. On start, it get triggers after the instantiation of the test class and before the call of any configuration method. Okay. So whenever the test execution starts, so we need to use the onStart method. On test success, it will be triggered. It gets triggered if the test case is passed or succeed. On test failure, obviously it will trigger in case any test case is failed. In case it is not matching with the expected results, obviously it will fail. On test skips, it gets triggered for every test getting ignored or skipped. On test failed but within success percentage. So that method will be triggered for every test that fails but remain below the success percentage. Okay. And on finish, obviously it will trigger after all the test finish execution and no configuration method is left. In case all the method intended method is run successfully, then obviously on test method will be triggered. On finish method will be triggered. What are the main advantage of testng over JUnit? So JUnit is also framework which is used for the developer for the unit testing, whereas testng is the framework for the testers which is used for sanity test, build validation suite, right, regression test, end-to-end test, like that. So testng have some different features which is not available in the JUnit. That is the reason in the market testng is more popular than JUnit. Okay. So compared to JUnit, annotation testng are easy to understand. Testng allows user to the grouping of the test case easily, which is not possible in the JUnit. So JUnit grouping feature is not available, however testng grouping feature is there. We can group multiple test case easily under a single unit. Testng support the below, following 3 additional steps: before and after suite, before and after test, and before and after group, which is not available in the JUnit. Testng does not need to extend any class. So it is does not from base class or child class is not required, parent class, child class, right? There is no need to extend any kind of class in the testng. In testng, it is possible to run Selenium WebDriver test case in parallel. So that is the one important feature is available in testng. Parallel testing can be done based on the thread count. It will run in the different browser or OS combination. Based on the group, testng allow user to execute the test case. testng allow user to determine the dependent test case. Each test case is autonomous to another test case, which is not available in the JUnit, right? In case any of the test method or test case is dependent on other test case, obviously that test case need to be executed. So in case it is passed only, then the remaining test case will be executed, which is not available in the JUnit. What is parametric testing in testng? So parameterized or parametric testing allows user to execute the same test over and over again using the different set of data or values. In two different ways, testng allows user to pass parameter directly to the test method. One is with the help of testng.xml file, and one is with the help of data provider, test data provider, right? Data provider annotations. What is the importance of sweet test in testng? Sweet test is done when user have to run a few unit tests together. Sweet test bundle this unit test together, and XML file is used to run the sweet test. How user can run an testng program with the help of command line, right? So first you need to go to the command prompt, right? So before that you need to get the project location, workspace location of your project, right? Suppose in my case it is C user type desktop Selenium training workspace and testng project. That is the project workspace, right? So that is the project name under the workspace I have created. So obviously there will be some jar file, right? So jar file will be testng, then a library, and then start. So all the jar file will be available in the path. So once you know your path of the project and jar file, so in the path you need to go to the path using the cd, right? If once you go to the path, then you need to type java space hyphen cp, then you need to provide the path of the library jar files, right? Then semicolon, and again you need to give the path of the project, and then bin, right? And then the syntax will be org.testng.testng, and then testng.xml. So if you run that particular program, so you can run your particular project, right, from the workspace, and it will be run. How user can pass parameter through testng.xml file for a test case? So user can define the parameter in the testng.xml file and then reference those parameters in the source file. So first you need to create a class, okay? So here I have created a class, public class test parameterized, and you need to use a test method. So I have used the test method at the test. Then this method takes a string as input parameter, add the annotation at the rest parameter browser to this method. So I have added it parameters browsers, where I will pass all the browser name, right? And under which I am creating a method name, okay? Parameterized test, and here I am creating the variables, right? Where I am passing the browser string, it will be string. So I am giving the condition. If the browser is not equal Firefox, then it will launch the Firefox browser driver. Okay. Then else browser is equal to I, else if, so it will launch the I. And if it is equal to else if, it is equal to Chrome, so it will launch the Chrome. So that's why you can pass the parameter, right, with the help of @parameters, and add you. I mean in the with the help of, right, where I am providing the parameters, and I will use it with the different if else loop, right? In case that is matching with anything, so it will print the correct value, or it will perform the different operation based on the matching parameter. How user can exclude a particular test method from a test case execution? So for that, obviously we know that include tag or exclude tag we need to use in the testng.xml file. First we need to give the classes, because we need to exclude a particular method, right? Then under the classes we need to provide the class name, and under the class name obviously we know the method will be there, right? Okay, and where we need to give the name of the methods, okay, and we need to close the method tags, class tag, and classes tag. So that way you can exclude a method from executing, being executed. A user can exclude a particular test group from a test of execution. So for that, obviously also we need to use the exclude tags. So for the group you also know the syntax, right? First we need to use the group, then run, under which we need to provide the group name with the help of exclude keyword. Name equal to this, we need to close the run tag and we need to close the group tags. So that's how you can exclude any group being executed using the testng.xml file. What will be the output for the following testng script? Okay, so I am creating a package, then at the rest for the I am using the annotation, I am importing the that particular packages. Okay, then I am creating a class test priority where I am creating two methods, right? I am creating first method where I am giving the priority 0, and I am creating the method 1 where the output will be this, and I am creating another test at the rate test priority 1 where I am creating the another method. I am getting some other output, right? So what will be the output? So you all know, right? So test case will be passed based on the priority from the lower to higher order or ascending order. So in case it is priority is 0 for the first test, so it will be executed first. So output for the test method will be printed first. Then as it is the priority is 1, so it will go for the next. So it will 0 from the 1. So that the output will be entered. Output for test method 1 and output will test method 2. Okay. So because priority plays the important roles for any kind of execution in the any test method or any test annotations. So in case any priority is not there, so it will set as default priority 0 and it will go for the ascending order. Write regular expression in testng.xml file to search test method containing any sanity keyword. So you can create multiple method, right? Suppose in case you created 1000 method, right? And if you want to search a particular method using the regular expression, so how can you do it? Okay. So how can you run it? Okay. So for that, you need to use that particular syntax. Method include tag dot star sanity star, then star. You need to close it the method tag. So that's why you can write search and test method containing a particular keyword. What will be the output for the following testing script? So here three test we have created three different method, right, for the three different tests. Okay, method 1, method 2 and method 3. So for the method 1 I am giving the priority as 0 and method 2 same priority. So obviously at the priority 0, so it will execute it fast. It will provide the output as test method 1. And in case multiple methods are having the same priority, right, so it will check for the alphabetic order, right? So whatever methods alphabetic order is less, so it will execute it fast. So here the first name is test, right, and here is m, right? Obviously m's come before the t, so obviously method 3 will be executed first. So output will be method 3 and then method 2, test method 2. So output will be printed. So that's why it will be output for the following testng script. What will be output for the following testng script? So here I am creating three different methods. For the one method I am giving priority and for the other two I am not giving any priority. So I already told, right, in case we are not giving any priority, so it will be set to default priority 0. Okay. So here for the two thing, so default priority will be 0 and the default priority 0 will be set. So like so it is the same thing, right, same priority. So in case same priority, obviously the method name which is the alphabetically start with alphabetic lower order, so it will be executed first. So here method 3 will be executed first as m's come before tree, right? So output will be test method 3 first, then it will go for the other methods where the priority is not there and equal to 0, so test method 2, and then it will go for the priority 2, right? Output for test method 1. So that will be output for the three for the following testng script. How user can make sure a test method runs even if the test method or group on which it depends fail or get skipped. So in case any method or group, right, which is dependent is get skip, obviously it will not run. Okay, it will be failed. Okay, so for that if you want to make sure that it will also be run in case other dependent groups or method is failing, we need to use always run attribute of @test annotation. So @test we are creating a method, suppose it is getting failed, and right, and under which I am creating another which is depend on the parent test, and I am selecting as always run. Okay, so in case my parent is also failed, but it will run. Okay, because I have used the syntax as always run attribute equal to true. So in case my parent is also failed, it will still run, though my that the rate test also depend on my parent test, but here I have used the always run at that particular attribute true. So that's why we can make sure that in case any method is dependent on the other method or groups, and in case that particular parent group or dependent group is failed, but we want to make sure that in case dependent is still failed but we want to run the child one, so we need to use the always run attribute and it will be true. What is the use of @factory annotation in testng? So @factory annotation helps user in dynamic execution of test case. Using @factory annotation, user can pass parameters to the whole test class at runtime. The parameters passed can be used by one of more test method of that class. Suppose there is a two test class, right? One is the test class and another is the test factory. Okay. So because of @factory annotation, the test method in the test class will run twice with the data of test data 1 and 2. Okay. So here in the test class, I am creating a test class. Okay. You can see where I am providing some, creating some string, and I am providing the reference of the string using a constructor, and I am setting this string equal to string. Okay. And there in that class, right, test class, I am using @test annotation where I am creating another method, so which is giving the output as string, right? And I am creating another class test factory where I am using the factory @factory annotation. I am creating a methods where it will return new object equal to new test class, that particular class with the data of data 1, and another one with the test data 2. So that's why we can use the factory annotation where we can pass the different data combination so that our base class will run multiple times. How many types of listeners which allow user to change the testng behavior is available? So you can see here there are a lot of types of listeners available in the testng. I annotation transformer, I annotation transformer 2, I configurable configuration listener, I execution listener, I hookables, I invoke method listener, I invoke method listener 2, I method interceptors, I reporter, I suite listener, and I test listener. So these are the important listeners available in testng, which allows user to change the behavior of the testng. How many different methods are available to store log information in testng reporter class? So there are four methods available. One is the reporter.log where it will be string only displayed. Reporter.log string and boolean log to standard timeout, and reporter.log string and integer level. And another one is reporter.log where string, integer level, and boolean log to standard out will be provided. Okay, so that's the 25 questions from interview question and answer set 7, which are specifically from testng. Thank you all for watching my videos.